Welcome to the Vault Studios NFL podcast, an Australian voice on all things NFL. The boys are cracking into a nice cold beer from Burnley Brewing. Let's join them.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the show. I am your host, JA, and I am joined. I'm just going to get him straight in here by the excited man himself, the Tampa Bay Bucks fan, Richard Garraway. I don't even know your middle name to say it. I'm sure I know your middle name, but I can't remember it. What a week, mate. What a week.
As I'm sure, judging by the 50,000 messages I sent you during the game, I was panicking from absolute start to finich. But yes, I'm very excited.
I was more your psychiatrist than your friend watching that game with you. I think we're gonna lose. I'm like, Rich, it's okay.
I think the best.
Just relax.
I think the best part was the fact I was a minute or two ahead of you, so you would catch me spazzing out before you even saw the play.
I know. It was very funny. I don't know how that is because you watch it on your actual TV, don't you? Like on 7 Mate.
I watched 7 Mate, yeah.
Yeah, so I think when you stream it, it's obviously like 30 seconds delayed or something like that.
Yeah, as best I can tell, 7 Mate is the most live you'll get. ESPN is second behind it if you're just watching Foxtel.
Game Pass is the worst. Game Pass is about
then KO and then Game Pass is by far the furthest behind.
I actually watch most of the live games that I can on 7 Mate on just through 7 Now or whatever it is, but I have Game Pass for the replays. That's what I love about Game Pass. Yeah, so I can watch all the games and everything like that.
Yeah, in case your game's not on it during the year. So obviously the other thing it's great for. But,
it's easy when there's only 2 games on a weekend. When there's 16, you got to try and catch
exactly.
And Red Zone. We all have it for Red Zone. That's it.
Red Zone. So good.
Before we launch into the games, a couple of quick things to go over. I want to start with Burnley Brewing. They are having a Super Bowl party. Our great sponsors. I am, as usual, hopping into Carlton draft. How dare I?
How dare you?
I wouldn't let that poison touch my lips after experiencing the Burnley Brewing draft. They are having their Super Bowl party, $5 beers, $10 Bloody Marys, and $30 bottomless feed. I've eaten the food at Burnley Brewing. It's magnificent. So for $30, they've got some great food there. So make sure you get in there. You got $5 pale ales, grapefruit IPAs. It's all going to be awesome. Obviously, RSA practices apply. Okay, so that means if you're going to get really drunk, be good at hiding it. Okay, when you order a drink, just act cool, be cool. All right, we're all adults. We know how to do it. Make sure you get in there. Have a couple of flat screens. So if you're in the Richmond area, head in there. They're open 8 a.m. Get in there, have a few beers and watch the game in there and have some terrific beer. So, and thank you to Burnley Brewing for their support as always. Also, thank you to Breaking Oz Memorabilia. If you're a collector of any sort, want to get in there and start collecting some signed helmets, jerseys, mini helmets. They've got some cards and stuff going around in there. If you're any sort of collector, head to Breaking Oz Memorabilia. All the stuff is in the description, whether you're on the podcast or the YouTube. It's all down below in the description. So click on their links and get stuck into it. Richie, though, let's get straight into it. Bucks at Packers. This was a terrific football game. We thought it would be, and we were not wrong. Let's just talk in halves. The first half, the Bucks kind of they were good, but they weren't as good as what everyone thinks. Like they went into the half with a big lead, but it was pretty much due to the big play at the end of the half. So they score on their opening drive, I'm pretty sure. They then score in the second quarter. It's 14-10, and then you get the turnover from Aaron Rodgers just before just after the 2-minute warning. And then that's when Brady's magic starts to work. I don't know what the defensive coordinator was thinking, playing man coverage with 30 seconds left, leaving Kevin King on Scotty Miller. And I know Scotty Miller's not Antonio Brown, but he was in for Antonio Brown. But Scotty Miller can run. That's one thing he can do. And they left him one-on-one, and Tom Brady, he burned them on it. He looked off the safety, made him read the right side of the field, and then just took a shot. And I don't think Kevin King thought he could throw it that far. I think that was the problem. I think Kevin King was in a trail technique thinking, Brady's not going to be able to throw it over the top of me here. And Brady just put it perfectly over the top of him. And that was kind of the turning point of the game. From there, all of a sudden, it's 21-10. The Patriots are behind. Sorry, the Packers are behind. They can't stick with their running game as much then because they'd fumbled a couple of times and the game plan was kind of getting away from them.
I think the key thing you're missing in that second half was,
Hmm.
let's not forget, the opening drive for the Packers was the fumble. So they got it first out of the half. They fumbled, and Tampa immediately scored. One play, only 8 yards they had to go. That was the dagger. Now, I know on Tampa's ensuing, I know Green Bay scored immediately on their next drive, and then Tampa threw the pick, and they scored again. But the fact that they'd given up those 2 scores basically in 10 seconds of game time, right before the half and right after the half, both of which were turnovers, that's really where the game broke the Buccaneers' way.
Yeah, and then again, so the half happens. It's all good. No one's thinking this game's over because Aaron Rodgers is a superstar. First opening drive, he goes down the field, scores a touchdown, and right then you're back in it. Tampa Bay then punt. Oh no, I think Tampa Bay throw the interception on the next drive.
They do.
And I remember you saying to me, "Oh God, here we go. It's happening."
That's exactly what I said.
They are rolling back. But to the Bucs' credit, Jordan White, who had a terrific game until he got injured on this play, came flying down and forced a fumble on Aaron Jones, which actually knocked Aaron Jones out of the game from that point too. And of course, our man Devin White gets the recovery and returns to the 10-yard line, and they scored a touchdown on that drive as well. And that's what kind of got the game back on track for the Bucs. And then from there, you've pretty much got 2 offenses that were just flailing. They really were. They really struggled from that point.
The second half was really ugly. Like there were not many drives, and they were all crummy. There were the 3 picks that Brady had were all in that second half. They certainly were not all his fault. One was horrendous, but
one to Evans. I know Evans could have caught it, but it was a high throw on a post route. They're hard balls to stretch for because you're not expecting them. Yeah, if Evans catches that, if he hits him on the tit, I reckon he scores. I think he runs because Alexander's on the goal line when he picks that off.
Yeah, the one, obviously the tip ball, call it a 50-50. The horrendously poorly thrown one's obviously Brady's fault. The one that was way underthrown was really Fournette's fault because I don't know where the hell he was going to block with his defender, and Brady just had to fling it.
Do you know what it reminded me of? It reminded me of Devonta Freeman in the Super Bowl against the Patriots.
Yes.
When he didn't block the blitzing linebacker and expected to get dumped off to. He just like, I'm just not going to block that free runner off the edge.
I thought the same thing.
And that's where Brady was in the second half in particular. He was a bit off. Normally, like the throw to Evans, whatever, those throws happen. But the other 2 where he was under pressure and just threw it up. And he threw one to Godwin in the first half that Godwin made a terrific catch. And but that's not like him. Normally he just goes, all right, I'm just going to eat this sack here. But I think he felt the pressure of it's Rodgers on the other side. Like if I give him too many opportunities, they're going to catch me.
I agree. But the other big thing was Evans was open on all those. Yeah. Especially that one that he underthrew that got picked off. He saw him open and he just tried to get it out there as far as he could because he knew he was going to run under it. And let's not forget, Evans dropped a sitter for mine, and he would have walked in
too. Yeah, because the corner had almost fallen over trying to defend it.
I think dropped it on the 10-yard line.
Yeah, I think he walked in with that. So it was either of them again.
Exactly. So it was a really, really interesting game, especially in the second half, where if you're just looking at it, was mistake riddled. But if you just ticked a couple of those mistakes off, the game would have blown wide open. But that being said, Rodgers and Green Bay were not good in that second half either. It really was a tale of 2 halves in this game.
Yeah. I think that the biggest matchup for this, and obviously I'm going to go offensive line, defensive line, the fact that the Tampa Bay defensive end, Shaq Barrett, who I have flown the flag for all season.
Sacks.
Yeah, I know his sack totals aren't there this year, but his pressures are. If you look at his pressures, he's led the league in pressures. Which is massive. So the fact that he finally got off the thing, and then JPP, he was manhandled Billy Turner. And I know Billy Turner's the backup, and if David Bakaraki was there, it would have been a different story. But unfortunately for the Packers and their fans, he wasn't there. I'm sorry. I wish David Bakaraki was there too because I love watching him play, but he wasn't there. And they needed to adjust to that. They couldn't just leave Billy Turner letting JPP with his 3 fingers just club the crap out of him every play. It was incredible.
Exceptional. He took that poor kid to town.
Yeah, and then the other guy that came in, the nose tackle, whose name I always forget, Vita Vey. He made a difference because he allowed Sue to not be double teamed all the time. He didn't play a ton of reps, but the ones he did, they helped. And surprisingly, did you notice he played more on pass rushing downs, Vita Vey, than he did on run stopping downs, which surprised me. He rushed a lot, which was helpful.
He's a better. I personally think he's a better run stopper than he is a pass, but I think he's still not. He's not there yet. So they didn't want to risk him on running downs where he could have got double team driven out and not be right for the Super Bowl. The other big thing was he's not a big sack guy anyway. Not many interior guys are. So just to have him there to make sure Sue wasn't getting double teamed and the edge guys weren't getting double teamed made all the difference. I think that's why he played a lot on the passing downs rather than the running downs, which is where you usually always see him in. But as you rightly pointed out, he was not in on many running downs.
No, and I think we're going to, before we move on to talk Packers and all that sort of stuff, the penalty at the end. Now, I know they let them play all game, and they did. There was a lot of penalties they didn't call all game.
Yeah.
That penalty at the end was the worst of a lot of them. You can't stretch a guy's shirt to the point where it's basically ripping and not expect to be called. If he doesn't hold him, not only is that a first down, but who was it? The young Johnson? That's in empty. He's walking in for a touchdown. He's running the entire field if he catches that. There's no one behind him.
Sneaky, exceptional hands. He made a screamer last week. He made a really good catch over the middle for a first down this week. I'm not saying he's a world beater and that's a hell of a receiving core to try and break into, but he is a good player. He will be on the Bucs team next year. I can guarantee you that.
He's a great 4 because he can do all the different spots. And then you'll mix Scotty Miller as your 4 and 5 sort of guy. They've got a great group. I also loved the play, just to highlight the play, the little screen, the tight end screen to Gronk. I said to you, I love that because here's Gronk just busting his ass all game, all season blocking. He's blocked like a champion. Never complains, never says, I never get the ball, never does anything. And then he gets a good, 30-yard screen. And it reminds me of not Raiders Jason Witten, because that's when he's a corpse there. Kind of late the last 3 or 4 years at the Cowboys before he retired and then came back, where he was still getting good receptions and he was just the dump-off guy on short third downs and stuff like that. But he blocked all the time and kind of made it his pride and joy to be a good blocker. That's what good running teams need to have. And they ran the ball pretty well in this game when they needed to. Late in the game, they obviously went to Brady, but from when they wanted to run, they did a decent job of it against a good Packers front. They got a couple of good players. So for me, the penalty, I missed the point. I complained 2 years ago. I was very aggressive about my opinion with the missed call on the Saints. That was a blatant PI. They didn't call it. Everyone was like, oh, it didn't change the game. All of a sudden, all those same people are just fine with them missing a call again. The ones that all said that, they shouldn't have called it are all just like, oh, no, they should have called that. They should have called that. You can't have it both ways. And I said that changed that game. If they'd called that a penalty, the Saints win that football game. If they don't call this penalty, I think Aaron Rodgers scores, and I probably think the Bucs lose because that's what Aaron Rodgers does. Now, did it suck him not getting the opportunity? Absolutely. But do you know what sucked worse and what changed the game worse and what was the worst thing? Not going for it on 4th and 7 on the goal line when you're down at 8, when you've got Aaron fucking Rodgers as your best quarterback, the best in the league. He's going to be the MVP this year. That is what cost them the game. It wasn't kicking the field goal and taking your chances with Tom Brady. What do we always say, Rich? Don't give the refs
an opportunity
through you. Don't give them that opportunity. The Packers said, all right, we're going to play with fate here. We're going to give it back to Tom fucking Brady, the best game winner in the history of the sport. Tom Brady has a bigger chance in his career of playing in the Super Bowl than Steph Curry has of hitting a 3-point shot in the NBA. You know that? Tom Brady's Super Bowl appearances in his career, he is 47%. Steph Curry shoots 3-pointers at 46%. That's the highest ever in the NBA. So he has a better chance of playing it. You're going to give him that opportunity and give the refs an opportunity. You're going to give him a chance to pick on Kevin King, who had been burned all day long. Was he burned? And you're going to give him that opportunity. What do you think he's going to do to you? And unfortunately, if he didn't grab him, he was going to do it to him again. It wouldn't have been the refs saving him. He was going to get it, and he held him because he got burned. Simple as that. I know it's rare that I go with the refs, Rich, but I'm backing him this time.
I don't really care about the penalties. I honestly thought the refs were bad all day. It's like, oh, no, it was good. They let them play. It's like, no, that's not the rules.
Yeah.
Like, officiate it correctly. But anyway, that crew won't be at the Super Bowl, so I don't care.
No.
And for those who don't know, the Super Bowl crew will be a mix and match. It'll be the best officials in every single position.
Yeah.
Which is also a bit weird because half of them probably have never officiated together, but whatever.
That's not what it's about in the Super Bowl. It's about what you see is what you call. You're the best. You're here for the best. Like, we're not. I imagine their Super Bowl conferences when there's a penalty. You're like, I saw this is what it was, and they're like, cool, that's what it was. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Because half of them are head refs, so they're used to just making calls. So yeah, but the penalty anyway. Your opinion on it? You didn't really. Obviously, you were happy.
Oh, the last PI. Yeah, I was ecstatic. I was jumping around because I knew we had it. But I want to come back to not going for it on the drive before it. You and I were talking about this, and I wrote to you because I wasn't watching it in front of my TV at that point.
No.
I'll be honest. I was at the Hillsville Sanctuary with my daughter, trying to keep her entertained. Now, I'm watching on my phone, and I've sent a message to you, as you well know. I said, am I missing something? Do I have the score wrong? And I was watching it, but it was on my phone. No. I said, aren't they down 8? How do you not go for it there? The 3-pointer still means you need a touchdown to win. Now, the only thing I could work out, and I think I wrote it to you at the time, was your touchdown then gives you the victory rather than the potential to tie it up on the 2-point conversion.
Yeah. So I think the mindset was from LaFleur. I think what he said was they had to stop Brady at some point anyway. Whether they kicked the field goal and got the stop then, or they scored, tied up the game, and then gave Brady a chance to go and get a field goal, they had to stop him. So his mindset was, let's stop him, and then get the ball back and take the lead. My mindset is you want to put as much pressure on him as possible because all he had to do to beat you when you
first down, not the score.
If you tie it up, get the 2, which is hard. I get it. It's hard. But that's what you had to score a touchdown to win that game. There was no way of avoiding it. You had to score. So whether you scored then or not, or worst case, you try and go at 4th and 7, you don't get it. Brady's backed up. You try and 3 and out him because they're going to be more complacent because they don't want to turn it over and then you get the ball back and try and score it. You get 2 chances to try and score again. It's the same situation. My mindset is put the pressure on Brady, score that touchdown, make it a tight game and go, all right, Brady, now you got to get in field goal range. You need you need 60 yards, not 10. And that was, we always rag on coaches for this attitude. You need, to quote Herm Edwards, you play to win the game. You heard Rodgers after talking about it. He's like, I wouldn't have done that. I got the mindset of why we didn't, but as a player, he was like, you could see he was burning. He's like he didn't blame the refs at all. He said we put the game in the refs' hands. Simple as that. Was a bad call? Yep, I thought it was a bad call because they didn't call heaps for me. But whatever, we put ourselves in that situation where one bad call could lose us the game, and we lost. Simple as that.
Yeah, I just couldn't comprehend it. Like, even as you said just then, just say you fail. Yep. So, okay, now you failed ahead of the 2-minute warning. So there's one free timeout because it was 2 minutes, 8 seconds, I think, after they kicked the field goal. So say they failed, they probably would have burnt 5 seconds anyway.
Yep.
Tampa backed up. They're on their own 8 at that point if you fail. And who knows, you might have got it complete and got tackled at the 1. So they could have been even further.
Yeah.
So let's just say they're backed up. They're going to run it 3 times.
100% they are because they've got an 8-point lead. The one thing they don't want to do is turn it over. That's it. That's all they don't want to do.
With clock. So they're going to run it 3 times, probably not get a first down because they're going to be super conservative. They're running. You're coming at them.
Yep.
They punt, and you're going to get it back at, what, the 50?
Probably.
Your own 40 at worst?
If it's a booming punt, the 50. If you're punting from your goal line. Exactly.
And you're going to get it with, at that point, let's say a minute 20 left for another chance to get that touchdown.
I just said, either way, you score a touchdown. The way they did it, they didn't give them 2 chances to score a touchdown. They gave them 1 chance.
No.
It was bad.
Terrible.
I don't think even analytics line up to it, but I'm sure in LaFleur's mind that the analytics were right there. But you know what? He's a young coach. Hopefully he learns from that.
Well, how wasn't there another coach just screaming at him, you've made a mistake, call a timeout and go for it?
Isn't that where you want Rodgers just to come off and be like, no, to stand out there and be like, no, I'm not going off the field. Fuck off special teams. I'm not.
If he's smart.
We're not kicking.
Not if he's smart. Sorry. And look, I still think he's furious at that organization.
Let's transition into that. You saw his post press conference. It was, he was sad. He was genuinely sad. And I saw a stat before, which is great insight. Aaron Rodgers' defenses have allowed 26.6 points per game. That is the most points per game for any starting quarterback's defense in the playoffs since 1950. How do you say it was Aaron Rodgers' fault when the only star receiver he has is Devonta Adams, and he is a star. He's an elite player. But that's it. Basically what the Bucs did is, we're going to shut down Devonta Adams all we can, and they got burned a couple of times doing it. But they also got
safeties. Yeah. Every safety was out of the game.
Yeah, but they also got the benefit of that as well. It worked because there was a lot of balls that were trying to be forced to Devonta Adams. One of the field goals they got, they had three passes from the goal line or from the 5-yard line all to Devonta Adams and didn't get him because they were forced.
Yeah, just missed that one out the back.
So Aaron Rodgers also said he doesn't know what his future brings. I find that intriguing. He's obviously still shitty. I would be too. They give him. We can highlight how good they were this year all we want. And the big reason they were good was their offensive line was excellent. Aaron Rodgers was fucking insane. He's going to be the MVP. And Aaron Jones is a really good running back, was able to run the ball a lot so they could play action it. That was why. It wasn't AJ Dillon. It wasn't Jordan Love sitting on the bench. He was bloody inactive most weeks. Why wouldn't you look?
Yep.
They could have got. Look at the receivers that went in the second round this year. Like, I'm pretty sure. Did they have a shot at Justin Jefferson? Like, either way, T. Higgins from the Bengals. You could have taken T. Higgins. He's been a star. He's been a great rookie. I think Jefferson went 18. I didn't have the opportunity, but either way,
they had a shot at
plenty of guys they could have added to this team to help them, and they didn't do it. That's the bottom line. And Rodgers can sit there and go, you know what? Maybe if you add those players, maybe we win this game. You know, maybe draft a corner in the first round that doesn't get burned by Scotty Miller before the half.
As we were talking,
yeah,
we've been putting Stafford on the trading block for what feels like months. It's been our stick. One, that looks like it's actually going to happen. Yeah, but let's come across to Rodgers.
Yeah.
So if you are going to trade for him, you're getting the last 2 years of what was it? I believe a 5-year deal.
Yep.
Where the Packers could cut him. It would only cost them $17 million, which I know sounds like a lot of money, but to cut a quarterback, it's not.
No.
But if you're going to have him, you're going to pay him a lot. So it's going to cost you $25 million in cash, which isn't insane for an elite quarterback. No. And then you've got him for 1 more year after that. So if you're, I don't know, the Saints or the Colts or the 49ers, any of those teams, what do you get to give up for 2 years of Aaron Rodgers, who right now, and I'm sure I've got his age.
37.
He's 38 right now, or he's 38. About to turn it.
Yeah. That's any team should be trying to get him if they can. And the Packers would be more.
What do you think you have to give up, though? What's it going to take?
Definitely a first. Definitely.
Yeah, well, obviously this year's first, but what else?
Probably. Well, you got to think Jalen Ramsey got 2 first-round picks. Laramie Tunsil.
I gave you this.
Picks. It's going to be 2 first.
Yeah, one of those was a terrible trade.
You've got 5 years of Rodgers, though. Remember, like, Brady's 45. Quarterbacks are playing, traditionally now, they're playing later.
True.
He's winning an MVP. He's not digressing at all.
No.
You know?
Even Drew Brees is 44. He's running around.
Yeah, and Drew Brees is 44 now, and he's only just started, or the last 2 years.
This year he's been cooked,
he shot off the cliff. But Peyton Manning, 44, when he started losing, 43 maybe. So they've got, really, if you're trading for 5 more years of Aaron Rodgers, if you look at it that way, 2 first-round picks is nothing. If you're Denver, this has been an Elway move. If you're the 49ers, oh my, you reckon Kyle Shanahan would want to get him in the building?
I'd put him very quickly to favourites in the NFC.
Imagine him running the West Coast offense that Shanahan runs. Movement, all that. Mate, he'd be dynamite. Throwing it to Kittle.
I'd give you my first this year, my second this year, and next year's first.
Yep,
without even thinking about it. And I'll toss
you know
in
what?
a player.
If they pushed hard for a third first, depending on the team, I'd probably do it. If I'm the 49ers, they've got a lot of players. They don't really need much.
I would try and push it down the road, though.
Yeah.
If I get a break.
Maybe if he re-signs after the second year, then you get another second or something like that. They do all that sort of stuff before.
Because you don't want to give away all the talent.
Yeah.
Because you bring him in, but then you haven't got any picks to go get guys to put around him.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, just if I'm one of those teams, I'm picking up the phone. I can tell you that for free.
Yeah, 100%. Just quickly before we move on, Tom Brady, what is this? He's 11th, he's 10th Super Bowl he's going to, maybe he's 11th. He now has the only organization that has more appearances than Tom Brady is the New England Patriots, which he should catch pretty. If he plays next year, who knows? He might catch him. So
they had 2 without him.
Yeah, we'll talk more about this in the coming weeks. But if you're not enjoying this, there's something very wrong inside of you. You should be enjoying this moment.
You're a Pats fan and you're still dirty. That's who you are.
Yeah, but the Pats moved on from him.
Yeah.
No?
Doesn't mean the fans wanted to, though.
No, that's true. That's true. But it was the Pats' decision in the end. They wanted him gone. They wanted to move on, and they have. Either way, for the Packers, it's going to be a very interesting offseason. Very, very, very interesting. Let's move on to the other game. Wasn't quite as exciting, the Bills at Chiefs. It certainly wasn't a bad game. We kind of hit the nail on the head, Rich. We said what a Buffalo need to do to win this game, and it was generate a couple of early turnovers and then score a lot. But we think the Chiefs are just going to be too good and get a lead and just stay in front. Now, what happened was the Bills got a couple of early turnovers. They got a fumbled punt, which they scored on straight away. It was 9-0 pretty quickly. And then at halftime, it was 21-11. 21-12, sorry. And then from there, Buffalo scored a touchdown in the fourth quarter, but the Bucs scored 10 points in the third. And then Buffalo started to – sorry, did I say the Bucs again? The Chiefs scored 10 points in the third. And then Buffalo started to crawl back. They scored a touchdown, which made it interesting. And then the Chiefs and Mahomes just went, nah, sorry. We're just way better than you, and we're just going to end this now. Put a touchdown on the last quarter. It ends up being 38-24. Just quickly, I want to talk Chiefs for a couple of minutes.
Mm-hmm.
I would love the Bucs to win next week. I would love it, but I don't know how anyone stops this offense of the Chiefs and stops Patrick Mahomes. This will have to be a 40-44 win for the Bucs if they want to win it, because I guarantee you the Chiefs are putting at least 35 on the Bucs next week, in 2 weeks' time. They are an unstoppable machine. Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill may be the best duo of offensive weapons in the history of the NFL. That's how good that's how productive they are.
Those two are incredible. They both had records on the weekend, one for Chiefs receptions in a playoff game, the other for yards in a Chiefs playoff game. These two are freak shows, and because what they both can do, they complement each other so well. Because everyone's shitting themselves that Hill's going to get out the back on them, there's so much space underneath. I just feel like Kelce just runs around wide open. He's just open all the time.
It's also Andy Reid. Andy Reid is, if you don't sit back and think Andy Reid's one of the best offensive minds this league's ever seen, again, I feel sorry for you. I do.
Since he got to the Chiefs, I agree. What he used to run in Philly, that's pretty pedestrian, same as every other West Coast. But his ability to change is incredible. Yes,
but think back. Remember Brian Westbrook?
Yeah, of course. But it didn't look like it looks now.
He was the guy. He was one of the first guys like Mark Hawk that kind of became that heavy reception receiver running back. Everyone was he helped change that trend. He did a lot of good. Also, his starting quarterback in Philadelphia was Donovan McNabb. I like him.
Good run.
He had a fine, but he wasn't playing
2 championship games in a row.
Yeah, but he was exactly. I would put that more to coaching, because as soon as Donovan McNabb left the Eagles, he was awful. So that's what I'm putting it back on. But this team is incredible, and we're going to talk a lot about them over the coming weeks, so I don't want to spend too much time on them. But McCole Hardman is probably one of the better receivers on a lot of other teams in the NFL. He's an outstanding player. If he gets on the 49ers, he's a superstar. He's electric. He was one that fumbled the punt return and then got a touchdown later to make up for it. Like, they're a well-oiled machine. And Mahomes is, I really do believe, and I've said this before, when it's all said and done and we talk about careers, I don't know how many Super Bowls or MVPs or his stats, what are going to look like. I think we're going to look back at Mahomes similar to how we look at Rodgers and say, maybe he's not the best player. He's not the best quarterback of all time because that's going to be very dependent on Super Bowl wins and all that sort of stuff and chasing Brady, basically, let's be honest.
Mm-hmm.
But he's going to look back and think he's probably the best passer of the ball we've ever seen because I've never seen someone throw the ball like he does.
His ability to throw the ball off any platform is
accurately
incredible.
And hard. I've never seen a ball zing off a guy's hand like that in my life. It's
while falling backwards.
Not like that. And you don't realize how good an athlete he is because he never runs with the ball because he doesn't have
scoots around, throws it
around and then dumps it. Like he's insane. But Chiefs absolutely awesome. We thought they would win this game. Let's talk Bills. If you're a Bills fan, I hope you enjoyed this run because I'm not saying it's going to end, but a lot of people have been saying, the Bills are going to be around for a long time. Like, this is it. Like, the Bills have changed. I hope so. I really do. But just remember, the Jaguars played in an AFC Championship game 3 years ago.
That's cruel. Why would you do that to them?
They almost beat the New England Patriots. Tom Brady had a game-winning drive with under 2 minutes left to win that game. They almost went to a Super Bowl, and they have not. They have the number 1 overall pick this year. 2 years later, two seasons later. So just remember, I hope it doesn't happen because I like the Bills and they deserve success. And I think that division's trending their way. I think New England is starting to drop a bit. I don't think Miami are going to have the talent to compete in the next couple of years for Super Bowls. And
they got a quarterback issue.
Yeah, and I certainly don't think the Jets are close. They'll be better next year, but they won't be good by any stretch.
Sorry, just before while you're talking about the Jets.
Yeah.
If they can pull off a trade with Houston, which there's a lot of talk about.
We're going to talk about this next week in the.
Oh, okay. All right, I'll do it next week.
Just so everyone knows, in the Pro Bowl week, I'm trying to stick purely to the games because there is news going on. I've already started putting on. We're going to do a complete because we have a dead week next week. We could talk about the Pro Bowl, Richie, which is a Madden tournament, which I found out on our preview show with Lewis on Friday night.
I didn't know till you told me in the pre-show.
Yeah, I thought it was still a Pro Bowl, but it's not. It's a Madden tournament. So that'll probably be more entertaining than the usual Pro Bowl. That's why we haven't had 400 players drop out of the Pro Bowl team. This is the most realistic Pro Bowl team in the history of it because no
one has to go.
Yeah. Next week in that off week, we'll talk about all the Lions coaching. Hopefully, we've got more information on the Texans, Matthew Stafford, Drew Brees, all this sort of stuff coming up. Some more Aaron Rodgers trade stuff because I'm sure more news is going to come out on that. So that's our plan next week. But Bills, great season, and I think we've talked about it, a lot. The way that Josh Allen's progressed is incredible, and hopefully he can keep this going. He wasn't great in the playoffs. That's the only thing I'll say, but he's young. He's very young. They need to improve a few things. They need to fix that O-line up just a little bit, get a bit stronger inside. The receiving core, I'm happy with. The Stephon Diggs trades absolutely worked out. And then defensively, they've just got to get a bit better in some areas. Their defensive backs don't worry me as much, but they've got to get more out of Tre'Davious White. He was the best corner in the league last year. They've got to get him back to that. He's been banged up this year. Get healthy. Bring in some pass rushing. They are a deplorable pass rushing team, and you saw that with Patrick Mahomes. 2 backup tackles in the Chiefs. And you saw what the Bucs pass rushers did to the backup tackles in Green Bay. You wouldn't have even known there was backup tackles in this game. They got 0 pass rush on Mahomes. So that's what they've got to work on. If they can fix those couple of key areas, they're a massive contender again next year if that offense stays the same, which all their guys are under contract. There's no one leaving unless they want them to leave. But it's a great group. So enjoy it, Buffalo. I think you'll be back next year. But the NFL, it's a fickle bitch. So just remember that. And I hope you enjoyed this run because it was awesome. It's been, since 94, you guys have won a playoff game. And if you're a fan, that's awesome stuff. Enjoy this season and really relish and be proud of you guys because it's been a good year.
I think their off season is simple. They have to work out how to stop the Chiefs. They have to spend all their capital. I haven't gone anywhere near.
I know, Rich. I know.
How's that, mate?
How do you stop a guy getting downfield really quick? get to the freaking quarterback before he can throw it. Because I'm telling you, coverage isn't going to help you. You can put the 2000s All-Stars defensive backs against Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce. They're going to get open with Mahomes. You have to get pressure. That's how you stop great quarterbacks, pressuring them.
Yeah, and as I said, they got to spend all their draft capital and all their free agency cap they've got, and build the defense, because we've already seen the O is good enough to hang. Yeah. That defense has to become an elite defense, so when they play the Chiefs, they can beat them. Because let's not forget, and I know we're going to talk more Chiefs next week, they were a stupid D forward offside from being in the Super Bowl the year before. They would have won that Super Bowl. They would have won it.
Because that was against the Rams, who would...
Yeah, that was the terrible Rams one. So let's face it, they could have been back-to-back. They could be going through... Theoretically, they could have been going for a three-peat this year because of a D forward offside. Like, let's not kid ourselves. That's how close they were. So
they need to do work with their cap. They've got $1 million in cap space at the moment.
The Bills, yikes, they got a lot of work to do because they have to get better. They have to get better on defense. They just have to. They've got to stop the Chiefs.
That's from over the cap. That's projecting the cap drop as well at 180 at 180 million. They've got 1.2.
Well, it's not going up. I'll tell you that for free.
No, it's right now. It's this season it was 200 million or something like that. They're at 178 million. So if it drops, if they're projecting it's going to drop to 180 million, they're going to have $1 million. At least they're under. They're like, as we talk in the preview show, the Saints are like 30 million over the cap if it drops. So as I said, teams can make things work. They can backload contracts. They can move things around. They can cut guys. There's probably 4 or 5 guys on that team. They need to cut Buffalo
or trade. If you can trade, even better, because I actually think there'll be a lot of trades this year because people will be trying to get rid of the complete salary and not take the cap hit at all.
But like a guy like Jerry Hughes, I like him a lot. He's a good.
Oh, yeah, frog. I love him, but he's in the twilight of his career.
100%, and he's earning. He's the 4th highest paid player on that team. John Brown, the wide receiver. Now they've got Stephon Diggs and Cole Beasley. They don't need he'd be great to have, but at $9 million, is he great to have? Probably not. Probably cut him and draft some kid that can run real fast and go, hey, watch what Stephon Diggs does and just run fast. You know what I mean? Like, I think they can make it happen. And I think the Bills will be around. I really do believe that. I think they're going to be a good team for a few years. But I thought that the difference is someone pointed out to me on Twitter, which was actually for once I had a nice conversation with someone on Twitter, Richie, which was very constructive. They did say the Jaguars were built on a defense that was dominant. We know defenses are more fickle than offenses. Normally, good offenses, they hang around for 4 or 5 years. Defenses like the Seattle Seahawks defense is an anomaly of stats because defenses don't hang around that long and be that good for that long. You know?
Well, the reason offenses hang around is simple because it's all driven from the quarterback. So if you've got a good quarterback, your offense hangs around for longer. The thing we have to find out is, I know Josh Allen was improved last year and then obviously came to another level this year.
Yeah.
But is this the real Josh Allen or is it Josh Allen from earlier in his career the real Josh Allen? And we won't know till next year. And I'm not saying he is. We just don't know. We don't know.
I think really it's probably something in between. I think so too. Josh Allen's going to be this guy every year because he was very productive. It's like Alvin Kamara's rookie year. He was the most productive football player in the history of the NFL. And everyone's going, this is what he does. Look at this. It's like, that's not sustainable. You know, it's like someone who scores 5 touchdowns in the first 3 games and they go, oh, this guy's going to break the touchdown record easily. If you times his first 3 games by 16, he's going to score 50 touchdowns. It just doesn't happen. It's productivity is hard to keep getting all the time. But I think
I said the same thing about
something in between.
Yeah. Well, I said the same thing about Mahomes after that 50 touchdown year.
Yeah.
And we were going live at the time when we were doing the podcast, and I got smashed by some dude saying, oh, I can't believe you're going to go, they're not going to go backwards. They're great, blah, 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 and all the rest of it. And I was like, whoa. I didn't say they're not going to be really good and win. As it turns out, they won the Super Bowl. Not that I had them winning it, but I just said he's going to regress because 50 touchdowns is bloody hard to do.
Yeah,
only 5 guys all the time.
Only 5 guys have done it, and Peyton Manning's 2 of them. Brady's the other. Mahomes is 1, and Dan Marino's the other one. They're the only ones.
As it turns out, he got hurt, and I was right. He did regress. Now he won the Super Bowl, so all good.
Statistically regress. It's like
it's hard to do.
Statistically, they're not as good as they were 3 years ago when they lost that AFC Championship game. That was the year they were the best like the most productive.
doubt.
But they are a better team now. Like
Yes.
Tyrann Mathieu, what he does for the Chiefs that's one of the best signings of the decade.
Agreed.
What he does for that defense, energy wise, and just he does everything. He's all over the field, and he was pretty good in this game. So unlucky for the Bills, unlucky for the Packers. I said we're going to deep dive into some stuff next week, a bit more like off game topic, and then the week after will be our massive Super Bowl preview, which we can't wait. We'll be getting into the props, the betting props, and then from there, Richie, there's only 2 weeks left of the NFL season.
I know, it's
this time in 2 weeks, we'll be recording our Super Bowl review, and the season will be over, and then we'll be waiting for the off season. We'll have the draft and all that coming up, but it's like the worst Sunday night before work ever when that Super Bowl ends.
Agreed. I think the one good thing is kudos to the NFL who during COVID got a season off. It's like good on them. And they didn't cancel a single game. Now they had to move them, but they didn't cancel a single game. So the NFL calendar.
You got screwed. The Ravens got screwed a game. You could argue that the Broncos definitely got screwed a game, but hey, they played every game.
Whatever, they sucked. It's incredible they got through it, but it means the off season is on time. It's not like the NBA, which had to go into another shortened season back to back, and college basketball the same, NHL the same. They're on time now. So the NFL, they're just going to roll on through. It's going to be great to see because it's going to feel kind of like normal. I mean, the college football season was insane, but the NFL did, quite frankly, and I'm usually not in the business of saying they do a great job of many things, but they've done an outstanding job to get through this year.
We were talking on the podcast saying, are we going to have a season? But surely it's going to get cancelled. And everyone was like, we'll talk about the hub and if it was possible and all that sort of stuff. They've done an incredible job. We're going to have a Super Bowl a week later than what we got into anyway. We missed having preseason games, which was awesome. It's now kind of triggered them to go into what I think will be less preseason games next year and potentially more regular season, which I am all for. All for that. I would be happy with two preseason games, an extra regular season, and an extra bye for the players to keep themselves healthy. So have 2 byes a year. Awesome for the league.
Yeah.
So
you can expect the preseason be cut down next year. No 100%. Doubt.
The NFL just realized, 1, they didn't lose any money. They didn't lose any money from not having it, and 2, the players don't need it.
Yeah, well, it's just clearly shown they had no preseason. Yeah, week 1 and 2 are a little rusty, but if you have 2 preseason games instead of 4, roll them into the season. I agree with you. Throw an extra bye week in there. Season starts the week before college football would normally start, and away you go.
Yeah, 100%. Well, that's it. You'll see us next week. We'll do some storyline stuff next week and the week after Super Bowl. Bucks fans like yourself, Richie, Chiefs fans, get around it. My man, one of my tradies from work, not mine, he works for me, with me, I should say. Dylan, big Chiefs fan, absolute legend as well. Dark Horse Electrics. Congratulations, mate. I know you were pretty confident going into this one, and you should be. You're the Chiefs, and I can't wait. This is like Brady versus his protege. This could be when it's all said and done. It could be like, yeah, well, Brady beat him in a Super Bowl when he was 44. It could be the they're both tied. They're 2-2 in matchups career. It could make it 5. Like who? But then in saying that, Brady's coming back next year. Like we're getting another year of Brady. I realized what I hated more was the Patriots. I love Tom Brady. And sorry, I did want to say before we get out of here, Rich, our man Devin White, who another great game. I'm not going to talk too much about him. He put up he had an interview and he said, they asked him, what do you think about missing out on the Pro Bowl? You're one of everyone saying one of the best linebackers in the league this year. And this is what he wrote. This is what he said. This is the direct quote. I was kind of upset I didn't make the Pro Bowl. He, being Tom Brady, he's like, D, there's a bigger bowl I'm chasing. We're all chasing it. Come on, man. And he's basically like, that's all I needed to hear. I didn't care anymore. He's like, that's what Tom Brady does for a team. You heard them interviewing him after the game, on the podium for the NFC Championship. And I asked him a few questions, and he literally turned and said, come on, guys, get someone else up here. This is about the Bucs, not about Tom Brady. And everyone went on him, that wasn't genuine. He was just trying to. I think that is Tom Brady. I think
he can't win, though. If he'd taken the credit, they would have smashed him for it. He tries to hand it over and share it with his teammates. He's going to get smashed for it. He can't win. He's the best ever to play the game of football. No question.
By far.
No one is
There's
ever.
no comparison.
No one's catching this record.
No.
Never.
I don't think
Mahomes could have
if he
an amazing career. He ain't going to catch it. Sorry. He's just not.
I just said he's got a better chance. Like, it's 47%. Half his fucking career, he plays in Super Bowls. Like, if a couple of things go his way, because people always go, "Oh, the tuck rule, rah, rah." Yeah, whatever. If a couple of the other ones go his way, he could have won. He could have won 9.
He could have even more.
This is what I mean.
Stupid Tyree. Take Tyree's catch. He probably would have won that one.
If that Super Bowl was last year, they blow Eli Manning in the dirt there because they're so scared of quarterbacks getting hurt now. I guarantee you they blow him sacked in that play. And the throw never leaves his hand. You know,
was it the next year?
Josh Allen got a sack called on him, but blown when he was stiff arming the guy, running backwards, still trying to throw it to someone, and the refs were like, "Nah, it's over. It's over. Someone's gonna get hurt out here, guys." Like,
and let's not forget, Eli threw that rainbow to Mario Manningham, who made one of the greatest Super Bowl catches I've ever seen.
That was a sick throw. I rag on Eli for a lot. That throw was insane.
That's still one of the best throws
I've ever seen. I don't know if you went full Matt Saracen from Friday Night Lights and just shut his eyes through it. I don't know, but it landed where it needed to land.
All we're saying is you can play that game all day long. I can find Brady 3 more Super Bowls. I can take probably 2 more off him. So whatever. Like, what the hell are we talking about? You got to be in it to win it for starters, and he is always in it. The other thing is the amount of divisional titles games he's played in is ridiculous. All he does is go deep in the playoffs.
Then he missed 4 in his career, AFC Championship games.
Yeah.
And this was his first his first year in the NFC. He goes and wins the NFC Championship. Yeah. With a wild card team. The first time he's ever been a wild card. He goes from 5 and wins 3 road. People don't enjoy it, I feel sorry for you. I do. I really feel sorry for you if you're not enjoying the ride.
And look at the teams the Bucs had to beat. Let's not forget they've beaten Rodgers, they've beaten Breeze, and Heineken, whatever that kid's name is.
The only easy game was Washington. That was the only, but everyone talked about, that D-line, they're going to give him trouble. Brady was just like, no way. Like I said, 3 road games is tough. Washington was hard. Washington led to 2 more. Like I said, I'll say this a lot over the next coming weeks, and anyone who wins just to me goes, "Oh, fucking Brady's so lucky," or the refs just wanted him to get in there, rah, rah, rah. I'm just going to sit back and go, I feel sorry for you. I feel sorry that you're not enjoying this, because if you're not a Chiefs fan or a Bucs, you should just be enjoying this ride that we're going to get Mahomes and Brady for most likely the last time. Most likely, it's probably going to be the last time to decide who's got the better record and a chance for Brady to go and win a Super Bowl on another team. Like, who would have thought this would happen?
There's an old saying, you don't know what you got till it's gone.
Yeah.
When he's out of the league, it's going to be sad.
Yeah. I guess I'm just more positive. I just choose to enjoy this ride. I am. It's awesome. Congratulations.
I'm enjoying this one.
Yeah, you'll be wearing that a lot lately. I think I'm going to have to get a Tom Brady jersey, a Bucs Tom Brady jersey for the Super Bowl party.
I signed up to DB12 last night too.
Good. Yeah, good. Smart. It'll give you like 10 more years of just living.
I hope my hair comes back like his is. It's just so creamy.
Quickly before we get out of here, Patreon, you want to sign up for our $10 a month one, chance to win this helmet. There will be a one more podcast before, but you've only got, 26? Yeah, we've only got 5 days. How many in January, Rich? 30? 31. So you've got 5 days to sign up. So get in there, sign up for your chance to win. I think there's 10 people signed up. So if you sign up, 1 in 11 chance, 1 in 10 chance, it's great odds. This is a really cool helmet. Christian McCaffrey signed mini helmet. You won't get a better chance of winning one of them for under $10. I guarantee you that. Go to all the breaks. And if you did, go to Breaking Odds Memorabilia. And thank you very much to ASM All Sports Memorabilia on Facebook. They'll also be in here. Not providing the helmet, but helping me get it over here and doing it at a really good price for me. I really appreciate it, boys. And for the giveaway they're doing, go in there. There's like 4 different helmets you can win. You need to sign up by basically tonight, because they're doing it tomorrow. So get in there tonight. Again, description links. That's ASM All Sports Media. And lastly, Burnley Brewing. Thank you very much for providing the beer for the show and big Super Bowl party. Again, I'll have all the details out in the description. And my man Richie, go Bucks. And I guess I'll talk to you next week.
Can't wait.